How to Destroy Fear Forever. Written and published by Book Boost. Fear, a force that has held millions of people back from achieving their full potential, from chasing their dreams, and from living a life of freedom. It's a shadow that lurks in the minds of many, keeping them stuck in a never-ending cycle of self-doubt and hesitation. But what if you could destroy that fear? What if, today, you could take the first step toward eliminating it from your life forever? This journey isn't just about overcoming fear. It's about completely dismantling it, piece by piece, until it no longer has a hold over you. At Book Boost, we believe that fear doesn't have to control your future. It's time to break free and take control of your life. If you're ready to step into your power, to reclaim your life, then keep listening. The road to destroying fear begins right here. Fear is not an external force. It's something that originates within the mind, deeply rooted in our thoughts, beliefs, and past experiences. We often think of fear as a physical enemy, but in reality, it is a mental barrier that holds us back from greatness. Fear convinces us to stay comfortable, to remain stagnant, and to avoid taking risks that could lead to a brighter, more fulfilled future. But here's the truth: fear is an illusion, and it only has the power you give it. Most people believe fear is something that can only be managed, that it's a natural part of life. But this mindset is a trap. Fear doesn't have to be a permanent fixture in your life. It's not something that's ingrained in your DNA or hardwired into your brain. In fact, fear is something you can learn to eliminate with the right mindset and the right strategies. And the first step toward doing so is understanding that fear is not who you are. It's simply something you've learned to react to over time. As humans, we are conditioned to fear what we don't understand. But when we take the time to examine fear, to dissect it and break it down, we realize that it has no real power over us. Fear thrives on the unknown, and once we expose it for what it truly is, just a product of our thoughts and emotions, it begins to lose its grip. Fear feeds off uncertainty and self-doubt. Once you gain clarity and confidence, fear starts to fade away. One of the key reasons fear holds so much power over us is that we tend to magnify it in our minds. We make fear bigger and more intimidating than it actually is. We imagine the worst-case scenario, and before we know it, fear paralyzes us, keeping us from taking action. But in reality, fear is almost always based on imaginary situations that may never even happen. The more we avoid our fears, the stronger they become. And the more we face them, the smaller and weaker they appear. The moment you decide to confront your fears, you take away their power. Fear thrives in avoidance, but it shrinks when faced head-on. The more you challenge your fear, the less control it is over you. It's like a bully who only picks on you because they sense you're afraid. But when you stand tall and face them, they back off. And with every step you take in defying fear, you become stronger, more resilient, and more confident. It's important to realize that fear isn't something you need to eliminate overnight. The goal isn't to live a life without fear, because that's unrealistic. The goal is to stop allowing fear to control your actions, to stop letting it dictate your decisions. By learning how to manage and face your fears, you build the mental strength to continue moving forward, regardless of what's holding you back. Fear may never completely disappear, but your response to it can be transformed. As you embark on this journey of destroying fear, it's crucial to take things one step at a time. This isn't about instant results, it's about consistent growth. Fear is a habit, and like any habit, it takes time to change. The more you practice facing your fears, the easier it will become. Over time, you'll find that fear no longer feels like a heavy burden, but rather a passing emotion that you can control. Remember, you are not alone in this. At Book Boost, we are here to support you on your journey to freedom. We believe in you, and we know that by taking action today, you are setting yourself up for a life free from the chains of fear. This journey is about more than just overcoming obstacles. It's about becoming the person you were always meant to be, someone who walks through life with confidence and courage. So, if you're ready to take that first step toward destroying fear forever, we invite you to join us on this journey. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe to Book Boost so you never miss the next part of this powerful series. The time to reclaim your life is now. Together, we'll destroy fear, once and for all. Identifying the roots of fear, where it all begins. Fear doesn't appear out of nowhere. It starts small, often as a whisper, but over time, it can grow into a loud, controlling voice in your mind. The key to destroying fear forever lies in understanding where it comes from. Recognizing its roots is the first step in taking away its power. The root of fear is often connected to something deep inside us, something we may not even realize is there. It's shaped by our past experiences, the things we've been taught, and the beliefs we hold about ourselves. Fear doesn't just appear in the moment. It's the result of what we've learned and internalized over years. To destroy it, we must first understand its origin. Often, fear is a product of our environment. From an early age, we're taught to be cautious, to avoid danger, and to stay safe. While this is important for survival, it also plants the seed for unnecessary fears. We start fearing things that are not truly dangerous, things like speaking in public, trying something new, or taking a risk. These fears are often learned from others or from watching how people around us react. Another common root of fear is the fear of failure. Society often teaches us that failure is something to avoid at all costs. But failure isn't something to be feared. It's an essential part of growth. The more we avoid failure, the more we feed our fear of it. When we start to see failure as a teacher rather than a threat, fear loses its grip on us. Fear also grows from a lack of self-confidence. When we don't believe in our own abilities, we give fear a place to settle. We worry about what others might think, or we doubt whether we're capable of achieving our goals. This lack of confidence keeps us stuck, unable to move forward. But building self-belief is one of the most powerful ways to weaken fear. Confidence isn't something you're born with. It's something you build over time by taking small actions and proving to yourself that you are capable. One of the most powerful ways to destroy fear is to understand that it is often exaggerated in our minds. We imagine the worst-case scenario, and in doing so, we create a situation far worse than reality. In truth, most of the things we fear never actually happen. When we challenge these exaggerated thoughts and confront them, we start to see them for what they truly are, just thoughts that have no power unless we give them one. A lot of our fears are also tied to the unknown. We fear what we can't predict or control. This is completely natural. But understanding that the unknown is just an opportunity for growth can change our perspective. Instead of fearing the unknown, we can choose to embrace it as a chance to expand, to learn, and to evolve. The unknown isn't something to run from, it's a space where new possibilities lie. Fear also feeds off uncertainty. When we don't have a clear picture of the future, our minds tend to imagine all the things that could go wrong. The key here is to focus on what you can control. Instead of worrying about things you can't predict, put your energy into actions you can take right now. The more you focus on what's within your control, the less power fear has over you. In some cases, fear is passed down through generations. Family histories and cultural conditioning can shape the way we see the world and respond to challenges. If fear was a dominant force in your family, it's possible that you've inherited some of those same fears. But understanding that these fears are learned, not innate, gives you the freedom to choose a different path. You don't have to live in fear just because it's been a part of your family's story. A major factor in understanding fear is recognizing that it often comes from a place of wanting to protect ourselves. Fear tries to keep us safe from harm, but sometimes it overreacts. It makes mountains out of molehills, convincing us that every challenge is a threat. When we start to question this protective instinct and realize that not every situation is dangerous, we take away fear's ability to control us. One of the best ways to understand the roots of fear is to reflect on your own life. Take a moment to think about where your fears come from. Are they based on past experiences? Are they learned from the people around you? Are they related to something you've seen or heard that made you feel unsafe? When you identify these origins, you can begin to untangle the web of fear and start to weaken its hold on you. Your thoughts play a huge role in how fear operates. Fear grows when we let our thoughts spiral out of control. It begins as a small worry, but when we feed it with more negative thoughts, it becomes much bigger than it originally was. Recognizing this pattern and interrupting it is crucial. Every time you catch yourself spiraling, take a deep breath and ask yourself, is this fear real? Or is it just my mind creating a story? Another important realization is that fear is not something we can avoid forever. It's not about eliminating fear entirely, it's about learning how to respond to it. By understanding its roots and recognizing that it's a natural part of life, you can start to shift your perspective. Fear becomes less threatening when you no longer run from it. Instead of avoiding it, face it head-on and watch how it shrinks in size. At Book Boost, we believe that identifying the roots of fear is the first step in eliminating it. Once you understand where fear comes from, you can start to break it down piece by piece. Each time you confront one of its roots, you weaken its grip on your life. This process takes time, but with each step forward, you're getting closer to a life where fear no longer controls you. Remember that fear is not permanent. It's not something that has to stay with you forever. You have the power to change your relationship with fear, to reshape how you respond to it, and ultimately destroy it. It all begins with awareness. By identifying the roots of fear, you've already taken the first major step toward breaking free. As you continue on this journey, keep in mind that fear doesn't define you. It's simply an obstacle that you can overcome. The more you understand it, the less power it will have over you. And every time you face it, you become stronger. Keep moving forward, and fear will lose its hold on you. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe to Book Boost as we continue to break down fear and guide you toward a life of limitless possibility. Your journey toward freedom has only just begun. The power of the mind, rewiring your thought patterns. The mind is a powerful tool, but it can also be your greatest enemy if not properly trained. In part 1, you discovered that fear is not something external, but a creation of your own mind. Now, it's time to dive deeper into how your thoughts shape your reality and how you can rewire your mind to destroy fear once and for all. The first step in reprogramming your mind is understanding that your thoughts are not facts. Many people believe that their thoughts define who they are, but that's far from the truth. Thoughts are just thoughts. They don't have to control you. By recognizing that you have the power to choose your thoughts, you begin the journey of mental liberation. Think about it. When you fear something, it's often because you've thought about it so much that it has become real in your mind. You've created an entire narrative around it, building it up to be something much bigger than it truly is. The key to rewiring your mind is to interrupt these thought patterns and replace them with empowering, positive thoughts. The mind is like a muscle. The more you train it, the stronger it becomes. Rewiring your thoughts requires consistent effort, but it is absolutely possible. Every time fear creeps in, you have the power to challenge it. Ask yourself, is this thought helping me? If the answer is no, then choose to let it go and replace it with something more productive. One powerful technique for rewiring your mind is to practice positive affirmations. When you repeat positive statements to yourself, especially in moments of fear or doubt, you start to shift your thinking. These affirmations remind you that you are capable, strong, and fearless. Over time, your mind will begin to believe these affirmations, and fear will lose its power over you. Another effective tool is visualization. Picture yourself succeeding, overcoming challenges, and achieving your goals. Visualization allows you to create a mental image of success, which helps train your mind to focus on positive outcomes rather than negative possibilities. By constantly visualizing yourself as confident and fearless, you begin to internalize those feelings and act accordingly. In addition to these techniques, it's important to be mindful of your environment. Surround yourself with positive influences, people who uplift and encourage you. The people you spend time with greatly impact your thoughts and mindset. If you're constantly around negativity, your mind will naturally gravitate toward those negative patterns. Choose to be around those who inspire and motivate you to become the best version of yourself. One of the most powerful ways to rewire your mind is to take action. Fear often thrives in inaction. When you sit and dwell on your fears, they grow larger. But when you take small, consistent steps toward your goals, fear shrinks. Action builds momentum and confidence, which in turn rewires your mind to expect success rather than failure. The more you act, the less room there is for fear to thrive. It's also crucial to practice self-compassion during this process. Rewiring your mind is not an overnight transformation, it's a gradual process. There will be times when fear resurfaces, and that's okay. What matters is that you don't let it stop you. Treat yourself with kindness, acknowledging your progress, no matter how small it may seem. Every step forward counts, and each time you push through fear, you strengthen your mental resilience. In moments of fear, remember that it's not the absence of fear that makes someone strong, it's their ability to move forward despite it. Fear will always be a part of life, but it doesn't have to control your decisions or your future. The more you take action in the face of fear, the less power fear will have over you. To truly rewire your mind, you must adopt a growth mindset. A growth mindset is the belief that your abilities and intelligence can be developed through dedication and hard work. People with a growth mindset view challenges as opportunities to learn, rather than as obstacles to avoid. This mindset is essential for destroying fear, as it allows you to see setbacks as part of the journey, not as failures. Every time you challenge fear and step outside of your comfort zone, you prove to yourself that you are capable of more than you imagined. These small victories add up over time, and before long, fear no longer feels like an insurmountable wall. It becomes a stepping stone to greater success. As you continue on this journey of rewiring your mind, remember that your thoughts shape your reality. You are not bound by the fear that once controlled you. By consciously choosing to change your thought patterns, you are creating a new reality where fear no longer holds power. This shift in mindset will be the foundation for a fearless, empowered life. At Book Boost, we believe in your ability to take control of your mind and your life. Rewiring your thoughts is not easy, but it is worth it. Every time you challenge fear and choose a positive thought, you are taking back your power. The more you practice, the easier it becomes. You have everything within you to destroy fear forever. Now it's time to believe it and take action. Remember, fear is a habit, but so is confidence. The more you practice confidence, the more natural it will become. It's all about consistency. Keep choosing to challenge fear. Keep replacing negative thoughts with positive ones, and keep taking action. Over time, you will find that fear becomes something you can control, rather than something that controls you. You are on the path to mental mastery, and with every step, you are getting closer to a life free from fear. Keep moving forward, keep rewiring your mind, and know that the best is yet to come. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe to Book Boost for more powerful lessons that will help you unlock your full potential and live fearlessly. Together, we'll continue this journey, breaking down barriers and building the confidence you need to achieve your dreams. The power is in your hands. Confronting your fears, taking the first bold step. Fear often feels like a giant standing in the way of your dreams, a wall too tall to climb and too thick to break through. But here's the secret: that wall is not as solid as it seems. It's made up of your thoughts, your doubts, and your reluctance to take the first step. The hardest part isn't the fear itself, it's the decision to move forward, no matter how small that step may seem. The first step is always the hardest, but it is also the most powerful. When you take that step, you shift your mindset. You show yourself that fear doesn't own you, and that you have the strength to move past it. Every journey begins with a single step, and even the greatest accomplishments are made up of tiny, courageous decisions. By taking action, you begin to break the chains fear is wrapped around you. Start small. You don't have to conquer everything in one go. The fear of failure often stops people in their tracks, but it's important to realize that small, consistent steps will lead to massive change over time. You don't need to have the entire plan figured out. The key is to begin, right here, right now, and trust that the path will unfold as you move forward. Fear thrives in the unknown, and when you step into that unknown, you take away its power. It's like standing at the edge of a cliff, looking down. The thought of jumping seems terrifying, but once you take the leap, you realize it's not as scary as it seemed from the edge. Confronting fear is like that leap. It may feel overwhelming at first, but the moment you step into it, you realize that the fear was only holding you back from what's on the other side. Don't expect the fear to disappear instantly. The truth is, fear may always be there, but you will become better at facing it. The more you confront your fears, the more confident and resilient you will become. And with each victory, no matter how small, your belief in yourself will grow stronger. You will start to see challenges as opportunities rather than obstacles. One powerful way to begin is by setting small, achievable goals. These goals don't have to be grand. They just need to be real, concrete steps that you can take to move forward. Maybe it's speaking up in a meeting, taking a new route to work, or starting a conversation with a stranger. These small actions will gradually desensitize you to the fear of the unknown, helping you to embrace new challenges with less anxiety. Another important lesson in confronting fear is understanding that failure is not the end of the world. Failure is just a part of the process. It is the feedback that tells you what doesn't work, and it provides the lessons that shape your future success. Fear of failure holds people back, but those who understand that failure is temporary and learning is continuous are the ones who succeed in the long run. It's crucial to remember that fear is not an enemy to be defeated. It's a signal. Fear shows you what's important to you, what you care about. If you're afraid to fail at something, it means that it matters to you. So, instead of running away from that fear, lean into it. Use it as a guide, and let it propel you toward growth and improvement. Confronting fear also means being kind to yourself. The journey is not about perfection. It's about progress. When you make mistakes, learn from them. When you stumble, get back up. The act of picking yourself up after a fall is one of the most powerful ways to build resilience. Each time you overcome a challenge, no matter how small, you are becoming stronger. As you take these steps, it's important to celebrate each victory. Even the smallest wins are significant. Each time you push past fear, you are rewriting your story. You are proving to yourself that fear no longer dictates your actions. You are choosing courage, and that choice transforms you. Surround yourself with people who uplift you, people who encourage you to take that first bold step. Fear can feel isolating, but when you have a supportive network, you are more likely to take risks and face challenges head-on. The people you surround yourself with will either strengthen your resolve or feed your fear, so choose wisely. Positive influences will help you stay motivated and on track. When you start confronting fear, you also start to notice a shift in your perspective. What once seemed impossible now seems achievable. What once paralyzed you now energizes you. You'll find that with every step forward, you become more empowered and more certain that you are capable of overcoming anything that comes your way. Remember, courage is not the absence of fear, it is the willingness to act despite fear. The most successful people in the world are not those who never experience fear, but those who choose to act in spite of it. They've learned that fear is not something to avoid, but something to face with determination and resolve. As you continue this journey, keep in mind that fear will always be there in some form. But what's important is that you've learned how to deal with it. You've learned how to confront it, how to challenge it, and how to keep moving forward regardless of it. With every step you take, you'll build an unshakable foundation of confidence that fear simply can't destroy. The most powerful thing you can do for yourself is to stop waiting for the fear to go away. It might never disappear completely, and that's okay. The power lies in your ability to act, to take that first step even when fear is present. By doing so, you show the world, and more importantly, yourself, that fear has no control over your life. Now, as you stand at the edge of your fears, ready to take that leap, remember that this is your time. This is your moment to begin the process of destroying fear forever. Every step you take is a step closer to a life of freedom, confidence, and courage. The first bold step you take today will be the foundation for a life lived fearlessly. So, take that first step. Push yourself past the fear and step into the unknown with confidence. You have the strength within you to conquer any fear, no matter how big or small. It all starts with the decision to move forward. And with each step, you will find that fear no longer holds you back. Building unshakable confidence, the key to overcoming fear. Confidence is not something we are born with, it's something we build, piece by piece, through experience, effort, and self-belief. By this stage in the journey, the person listening has already taken bold steps to face their fears and challenge the limits they once accepted. But now comes the real transformation, replacing fear with a rock-solid belief in oneself. Because without confidence, fear finds its way back. But with it, fear has nowhere to live. Confidence grows in silence and shines in action. It doesn't scream. It shows up quietly, steadily, and without needing approval. People often wait for confidence to arrive before they act. But in truth, confidence is built through action. Every step taken in the face of fear becomes a brick in the foundation of inner strength. Each decision to move forward when doubt is present adds power to one's identity. The simplest acts, waking up early, keeping promises to yourself, speaking your mind with honesty, these are not small. These are the moments that shape character. Confidence is born not from big victories but from 1,000 small wins stacked on top of each other. The stronger the foundation, the less room fear has to grow. Consistency creates courage. A person who walks confidently does not do so because everything is perfect. They do it because they've made peace with imperfection. They've learned that trying, failing, learning, and trying again is more important than getting everything right the first time. When someone becomes more focused on effort than outcome, fear begins to lose its power. There's a lesson many people never learn. Confidence doesn't come from others believing in you. It comes from you believing in yourself, even when others don't. Approval is fleeting. Praise is unreliable. But self-trust, that's where confidence truly lives. And self-trust is something that's earned, not given. Fear wants people to hesitate, to stay uncertain. But confidence teaches that uncertainty is not a threat, it's an opportunity. When someone walks into the unknown with their head held high, they teach fear a lesson, that it's no longer welcome here. That they've grown too strong to listen to its lies anymore. Confidence doesn't make challenges disappear. It simply makes the person stronger than the challenge. In earlier parts of this journey, the person learned how fear grows from doubt and avoidance. Now, they are learning that confidence is built by doing the very things fear told them not to do. That's the paradox. The things that scare us often lead to the breakthroughs we need. To build confidence, a person must stop speaking negatively to themselves. Words shape reality. Someone who constantly tells themselves they're not good enough will begin to believe it. But someone who replaces those words with kindness, courage, and hope rewrites their story. Confidence begins with how we speak to ourselves when no one is listening. The people who seem the most confident are not always the most talented or smartest. They are simply the ones who decided not to quit. They chose to keep moving forward, despite fear, despite uncertainty, despite past failures. That decision to keep going is the fuel of unstoppable confidence. There is a myth that confidence means never feeling fear. That's not true. Even the most confident people feel fear at times. The difference is that they don't let it control them. They acknowledge the fear, face it, and move forward anyway. And each time they do, their confidence grows stronger than before. A key to building unshakable confidence is preparation. The more prepared someone is, the more control they feel. And when control increases, fear decreases. Whether it's preparing for a conversation, a new goal, or a major life change, preparation turns uncertainty into possibility. Confidence is what happens when preparation meets opportunity. Another powerful lesson is to surround yourself with people who lift you up. Confidence grows in environments where support is present. But if someone is surrounded by negativity or doubt, it becomes harder to rise. The right voices matter. And sometimes, the best way to build confidence is to distance yourself from those who don't believe in your growth. Comparison is another enemy of confidence. When someone measures their journey against others, they forget their own progress. Confidence isn't about being better than others, it's about being better than you were yesterday. When focus shifts from others to self-growth, confidence grows in a way that cannot be shaken. It's okay to take small steps. Confidence doesn't require huge leaps. Even 1 inch forward is still forward. When someone celebrates their progress, no matter how small, they are telling their brain, "I'm capable." And the more that message is repeated, the more real it becomes. Courage is not the absence of fear, it's the decision to act despite it. That's the core of confidence. It's looking fear in the eye and moving anyway. The person who does this regularly will one day look back and realize they no longer feel fear the same way. They've risen above it. Confidence also grows when we remember our past victories. Many people forget how much they've already overcome. They forget the times they were afraid and pushed through. Reflecting on those moments reminds us of our strength. It reminds us that we are more capable than we think. Self-respect and confidence go hand in hand. When someone lives with integrity, doing what they say, honoring their values, showing up for themselves, their confidence becomes unshakable. No outside voice can shake someone who stands firm in their truth. Patience is another pillar. Confidence doesn't bloom overnight. It's the result of showing up again and again, even when results are slow. Just like a muscle, confidence strengthens with consistent use. Those who stay the course are the ones who become truly unstoppable. This stage of the journey is about replacing fear with belief. Everything learned in the earlier parts, understanding fear, identifying its roots, mastering the mind, taking bold steps, has built up to this moment. Confidence is the reward for showing up. It is the quiet roar inside that says, "I can." And finally, confidence is a gift, but it's also a responsibility. When someone builds unshakable confidence, they don't just change their own life, they become an example for others. They show what's possible. They give others permission to rise, too. Let the foundation of this confidence become the armor for the next step, because in the next part of this journey, fear will return in the form of failure. But the person who is confident no longer sees failure as defeat. They see it as fuel. And that changes everything. Embracing failure, turning setbacks into fuel. Failure is often seen as the end of the road, but in reality, it's just a stepping stone on the path to success. It's easy to fear failure, especially when it feels like everything you've worked for is slipping through your fingers. But true growth comes from the willingness to face setbacks, learn from them, and keep moving forward. Failure does not define you. It refines you. Each time you fall, you learn, and each lesson becomes the fuel that propels you toward your ultimate success. When we look at successful individuals, what we often fail to see is the countless failures they've endured along the way. The difference between those who succeed and those who don't is not the absence of failure, but the ability to keep going despite it. In fact, failure is necessary. It's how we evolve. Without failure, there would be no growth, no progress, and no achievement. It's essential to understand that failure is impersonal. It's not a reflection of your worth or abilities. It's simply a natural part of the process. Every mistake you make is a chance to adjust your course, to do better next time, and to gain a deeper understanding of what works and what doesn't. So, instead of dreading failure, embrace it as part of your journey. The fear of failure often holds people back from even trying. But the truth is, not trying is the real failure. When you allow fear to control your actions, you rob yourself of the opportunities to grow and succeed. The only true failure is the failure to act, to remain stagnant out of fear. By taking bold steps, regardless of the outcome, you position yourself for success in ways that staying safe and avoiding failure never will. Each setback offers a valuable lesson, if you're willing to learn from it. The greatest achievers in history have failed time and time again, but they didn't let those failures stop them. Instead, they used each failure as a stepping stone. Every failure taught them something new, And with each lesson learned, they grew stronger. The same can be true for you. Each challenge you face is an opportunity to improve, to get closer to your goals, and to become more resilient. Failure teaches you patience. It teaches you persistence. It teaches you the importance of never giving up, even when things seem impossible. Every time you rise after a fall, you build the strength and determination to face whatever lies ahead. And this is how you ultimately overcome fear. Because fear thrives on the unknown, and failure often feels like an unknown territory. But once you realize that failure is just another chapter in your story, it loses its power to paralyze you. The key is to shift your perspective. Instead of seeing failure as something to be avoided, see it as something to be embraced. View each failure as a valuable lesson that brings you closer to success. When you change the way you look at failure, you take away its power to stop you. You take control of your own narrative. The fear of failure can keep you stuck in a place of inaction, but by embracing failure, you free yourself. It's when you step into the unknown and take risks that you open the door to your greatest potential. There's no growth in staying where you are, and no progress without facing challenges. Failure is a natural part of life, and the sooner you accept it, the sooner you'll start to see the true potential in yourself. The greatest victories often come after the biggest struggles. Look at the most successful people in the world. They didn't achieve their greatness without facing hardships, but they didn't let those hardships define them. Instead, they used those challenges as opportunities to improve, to grow, and to push through the fear. And in doing so, they proved that failure isn't the end. It's the beginning of something greater. Think of every failure as a gift. It's a lesson that will guide you on your way to success. The more failures you experience, the closer you get to your dreams. You might stumble, you might fall, but each time you get back up, you become more determined and more capable. In this way, failure isn't just something to endure. It's something to learn from and use to fuel your journey. To destroy fear, you must understand that failure is not something to fear. Instead, it is the gateway to growth. Each failure brings clarity, offering you the insights you need to succeed. The fear of failure fades when you see it for what it truly is, a tool for transformation. It's a reminder that you are still moving, still learning, and still pushing toward your goals. The more you embrace failure, the less power fear holds over you. Fear tries to make you believe that failure is the end, but in reality, it's just another part of the process. Failure isn't permanent. It's simply a moment in time that passes. And once you realize that, the fear of it no longer has the ability to stop you. You begin to move forward with a sense of purpose and confidence. Success doesn't come from avoiding failure. It comes from learning how to rise after each fall. So, the next time you face a setback, don't retreat in fear. Instead, look at it as an opportunity to grow, to get better, and to keep moving forward. Each failure is another step on the road to success, and each one brings you closer to the person you're meant to be. When you embrace failure, you open yourself up to endless possibilities. You stop being held back by fear, and instead, you start living with intention and confidence. Fear may show up along the way, but it no longer has the power to hold you back. With each setback, you rise stronger, and each time you face failure, you become one step closer to your goals. So, don't let failure stop you. Let it fuel you. Embrace it, learn from it, and keep moving forward. Remember, success is not about never failing. It's about failing, learning, and rising every single time. That's how you destroy fear forever and build a life full of possibility, strength, and success. Living fearlessly, the path to freedom and fulfillment. To live fearlessly is to step into the fullness of your potential. It's about shaking off the chains of insecurity, self-doubt, and worry that have held you back for so long. It's not about being fearless in the traditional sense. It's about choosing not to let fear control you. When you take the steps to understand fear, identify its roots, confront it head-on, and build confidence, you begin to embrace a new way of living. Fear is a natural part of the human experience, but it doesn't have to dominate your life. The path to freedom and fulfillment starts when you acknowledge fear, face it, and decide that it no longer has any power over you. The journey is not about eliminating fear, but about shifting your perspective on it. You start seeing fear as a tool for growth, rather than a threat to your progress. Every step you've taken so far has brought you closer to understanding that fear is not your enemy. It's a teacher, one that guides you to the places in your life that need attention and growth. As you move forward, you begin to see fear for what it really is, an opportunity to evolve. The more you face it, the more confident you become. Every small victory over fear is a massive step toward living a life that's truly your own. Living fearlessly doesn't mean acting recklessly. It means acting in alignment with your values, your goals, and your dreams, even when fear is present. It's about not letting fear stand in your way of creating the life you truly desire. In every decision, big or small, fear will try to make you second-guess yourself. But when you know your worth, when you trust your intuition, you will make choices that align with your highest self, fear or no fear. You've learned that the more you face fear, the less control it is over you. Each encounter with fear becomes an opportunity to show yourself just how capable you are. It may seem challenging at first, but the more you practice, the stronger you become. Fear loses its grip when it sees you refusing to be held back. The key to living fearlessly is not about avoiding fear, but about taking action despite it. When you take action, fear begins to fade into the background. The more you move forward, the less power fear has. And with every step you take, you build momentum, a powerful force that propels you toward your goals with greater determination and courage. Living fearlessly also means embracing failure. This is one of the most important lessons you can learn. Fear thrives in failure because it tells you that you're not good enough, that you should quit. But true success is born from failure. Every time you fail, you learn, you grow, and you become more resilient. The fear of failure is often much worse than the failure itself. When you embrace failure as a stepping stone, fear no longer holds the power to paralyze you. As you continue to live fearlessly, remember that your journey is unique. There is no one-size-fits-all path to overcoming fear. What works for one person may not work for you, and that's okay. What's important is that you trust yourself and keep moving forward. The more you listen to your intuition, the more you'll recognize that fear doesn't define your path, your choices do. One of the most empowering things you can do is take full responsibility for your life. When you stop blaming external circumstances or other people for your fears, you reclaim your power. No one else can dictate your life but you. By taking responsibility for your actions and decisions, you stop giving fear the power to control your outcomes. You become the creator of your own reality. Living fearlessly also means letting go of perfectionism. Fear often disguises itself as the need to get everything perfect before taking action. But perfection is an illusion. There is no such thing as a perfect moment to start something. The key is to begin, even when things feel imperfect. Fear tries to convince you that you need more time, more knowledge, more resources. But the truth is, the best way to overcome fear is by taking action before you feel ready. Remember, it's not about eliminating fear entirely, it's about learning to manage it. Fear will always be present in some form, but it no longer has the power to dictate your life. As you continue to take bold steps, your fear will gradually become quieter. It will no longer stop you from pursuing your dreams or reaching for what's next in your life. Instead, it will serve as a reminder that you are on the path to growth and transformation. Living fearlessly also means being kind to yourself along the way. Don't expect perfection, and don't punish yourself when you feel fear. Embrace it with compassion. Understand that it's part of the human experience. The more you embrace yourself through fear, the more you'll find peace within it. You are not your fear. You are the one who can choose to act in spite of it. As you take this final step in your journey to living fearlessly, remember that this is a lifelong process. Each day presents an opportunity to live with courage and conviction. The more you practice, the more natural it will become to face fear with strength and clarity. Living fearlessly isn't a destination, it's a way of being, a way of embracing life with open arms, despite the unknowns. You now have the tools and the mindset to destroy fear forever. The journey doesn't end here, but it begins anew each day. Every moment is a chance to continue living with courage. Fear will try to rear its head, but you now know how to confront it, challenge it, and move beyond it. Fear is not a barrier. It's a signpost pointing you toward growth, transformation, and success. So, as you step into this new chapter of your life, remember, you are capable. You are strong. You are resilient. Fear no longer has a hold on you. The path to freedom and fulfillment is yours to walk, and you have everything within you to live the life you've always dreamed of. If you enjoyed this journey, make sure to like, share, and subscribe to Book Boost. Keep moving forward, keep living fearlessly, and always remember, the best version of you is just on the other side of fear.